that we're good to go and that the microphone is working properly this time. So I got it in the right spot and I fixed the gain. So we should be good to go, long as I don't move too far away from the thing and I just keep it right here whilst I am working. So let me tilt this back some more so that you can see all of the work area. Looks like I got to keep it here so it's in frame. I'll try not to knock the microphone too much while I'm working. All right, so sorry about that. Using the mute button. It was needed, I promise. All right, so as with a few of the other uh, edge paints that I've gotten from EcoFlow, the the turquoise, which is what this one is really, really thin. Super duper thin. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. This is upsetting. So it got lodged up in there. And now it doesn't want to turn properly because it got lodged up in there. There we go. Well, thankfully it's all dried. I should be able to just scrape it all off. This is why it's important to keep your tools clean, everybody. I failed spectacularly to clean all of this. I only cleaned off the veins, I believe is what those are called there. Looks very much like the parts on a turbo or a turbine. You know, like like the thing that turns and produces thrust for jet engines, Navy ships, all that good stuff. Well, maybe not just Navy ships, but major ships. Anyway, mm, all right, that's spinning a lot better. It'll spin a lot better once I do this to it. That was the 1000 grit sandpaper, and that did actually get a lot of it off. So it should turn better now. There we go. There we go. Much better. And I can still salvage this. Big glob. That piece right there was about to bring its way on down. I did kind of screw myself. I left the fan in my bag in the car, so this will just have to naturally air dry. This is the third coat, if I remember right. So this should be okay, but If necessary, I will do one more. Hopefully, it won't be necessary. Hopefully, this should be all that's needed. Good to go. Easy day. I made sure prior to the stream, I already hit it with the uh, what is it? The 320. I'm sorry, no, the 400 and the 1000 grit sandpaper to smooth it, or to take down some high spots and to also smooth it out. And that should allow for the edge paint to adhere to it really well. I am very upset at myself right now. I did not bring an item to be able to let this hang and then dry out relatively evenly. Bad form on my part. But while we're here, this is a collar for, we'll call it adult fun times. And I just don't want for, I don't want to set this down like so and then allow for the paint to pool here because it's, slight though it may be, still a down slope. So it'll be thicker here, potentially spilling over, and thinner up here, and the same thing right there. So the smart thing would be to keep it held in this position so that nothing will pool and it will dry on its own. And then once it gets tacky, I don't need to worry about it sliding around and building up and pooling in this low spot here or right there. But I just did not bring anything to hang this up. I'm very upset with myself right now. Well, um, since we're all here, if anyone's got any questions, let me know. Let me start answering a few questions up front. Uh, no, no one asked for this. Somebody asked me if I had made any before and if I could do it. And I knew that I had the ability. I just had never done it prior. So I decided to just go for it. Somewhere I had a pattern, aka a template, and had to go and find it because I hadn't used it in a while. I knew I printed it up, but I ended up not really going for it. And found it, and it looked pretty straightforward. The only issues I had were uh, the buttons that I had were just a little wide for where the stitch line was. So in a perfect world, these buttons, or at least the post for the buttons, are completely free of the stitching, but you see there's a bit of an overlap. So I might have to switch to smaller buttons. Oh my goodness, I almost ruined that. But thankfully it was tacky on the sides there. Little bit of overlap, but nothing crazy. But it's looking like the edges have firmed up a bit. So I'm gonna make the command decision to set this down. Oh yeah, also got these earrings of the great in the shape of the great state of Texas. Gotta love it. And while that's going, let me make sure I'm cleaning these veins off here. I don't want to get into the hole that's getting too dry and then getting clogged every time, but looks like that might be where I'm headed. Da 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 da. Not its intended use, but quite effective. If anyone's asking, I did a video about this some years ago, but this is the Dream Factory 5-in-1 tool. I would be using it for this piece here, but it's best used for things that are either much wider or much smaller because the veins on it take up a greater amount of space, but the space at the end doesn't have any veins on it. So not the best idea for applying the edge paint. I'm sorry, I'm facing away from the microphone again. My apologies. So it's not the best idea for that was clogged. It's not the best idea for applying the edge paint, but it does work for things that are slightly narrower than this. I've only made a few of those pieces though, because if I use this, the end is just too wide for some of those really narrow pieces, in which case I'd be using this. So I would attach it. This moves really, really well. You can see how long it's spinning. This little bit of spin. So the application is a lot smoother, but the veins end here. So this last quarter inch and some change, a little bit more than, is just smooth and it doesn't rotate as well because nothing's touching the vein. This, not the case. The closer it gets to the end, it's still got those veins, those louvers, whatever you want to call them. So this would not be ideal because I'd be applying it here where there's no vein, no louvers. But for this, it works great. But if I had a thicker belt like I've been making, or the sort that I would make that are specifically for a gun belt, this bad boy all the time. All right, that's looking really good. That should be dry in a few minutes. So here we are again. This one only has the one coat. So that is still hard to open with my hand. Thank you, aircraft carrier workplace accident. Truthfully, it was just bad luck, is what it is. So, did anybody here see the end of the Boys TV show? It was very, very different, immensely different from the comic, with the exception of the whole uh, hashtag spoiler alert. Well, mild spoiler alert, with the exception of the crowbar thing. That kind of happened in the comic. It was pretty crazy. But people were saying, "Oh, Homelander, they changed him up in the season and this, that, and the other." And I would argue, let me say this in the mic here. I would argue that the Homelander that we saw at the end was the real Homelander, the guy who, when you strip away all his powers, didn't even know how to fight. He got his ass beat. I mean, he had been so used to just being strong and having the heat beams and the flight and everything. He was just too used to having power. He never developed any skill or ability. He he was nothing. He was a nobody. He wasn't just a psychopath. He was a psychopath with too much power, raised in a system where everyone told him that because of his power, he could do anything he wanted. The only thing that kept him in check was, I guess, shame, people holding things over him. But when you tell somebody that they're special, eventually they'll believe that nobody can hold anything over them because of how special they are. If you release any information, people will just ignore it. And that's what he came to believe in general. And we're talking about a psych profile here. So he never developed anything worthwhile. He had no personality. He had no hobbies. He had no skill or ability. He was just powerful and gifted. So, of course, when that's stripped away, he has nothing. He'll do anything to not die. He'll do anything to have an opportunity to stay alive, to gain an upper hand somewhere. Of course, the the sniveling, crying, scheming, wheeling and dealing person, of course Homelander was like that. That's who he truly was. He spent all 5 seasons trying to convince people that he was more than that, and he hid behind his powers, he hid behind his abilities. And then when they're gone, He doesn't know what to do. He can't think straight, or rather, he never had to think straight. He couldn't stay calm and figure shit out. No, no, he was done. Now, what I really wish would have happened is what happened in the comic, where you saw the deep manipulation of Homelander via Vought, and how their contingency plan went rogue as well. So, but hey, probably, I mean, that would have been an epic, horrific, gory fight scene that would have blown, what, 20% of the budget on just that fight scene, 20% of the season. So, yeah, I see why they went with the route that they went. Oh, side note, I can't see anybody's comments right now. The camera's just too far ahead of me, or not too far, but too high up above me. I've got to stop and stand up and look down to see the comments. So if anybody's commenting, um, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see. But I'm going to take a break really soon, just not even a minute to check in on that and maybe even lower the camera so it'll be easier for me to see things. I'm a man of my word. Matter of fact, I tilt this down a bit. And where's my work area? Okay, so if I tilt it right here, no one's gonna see what I'm doing. So it's got to be here, and I can barely see anything, but still on camera. So, or rather, still in frame. So there we go. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps settling into this little valley here. It's also dry-ish, but not dry enough that I can sand it. So we're going to refrain from flipping it over. But since we're here, well, no, these look fine. No need to add more to that one. If it ain't broke, right? Well, I'm not gonna have y'all sit here and literally watch paint dry. I'll do that, but I won't subject y'all to it. Boom. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all very much. Hopefully, I got the mic levels ready, or excuse me, not ready, mic levels proper, and it's not nearly as dim as it was prior to. All right, that's all I got. Thank y'all very much. I'm Jay Renard, and I'm out. Ooh, that was my watch. Oh, you know what? I didn't even introduce it. This is the watch of the day. It's the Tudor 1926. I did the custom racing strap myself. I got bored, felt funny, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And the rings from Elena Gleiser got mine, rocking the Tamara Pierce motif. Got the wolf for the wolf speaker, the owl for House Mendelin. Also rocking that with the tattoo there. Also House Mendelin. Yes, your boy's a literary nerd. It is what it is. So yeah. All right. So now I'm gone. All right. Peace. wrap this up. Boom.